So 2 days straight now. They're using a male called Kean, Kean. I've got two more audios of today. They're using a law company in England. He never showed up on my own. This is how neural monitoring works, right? So I go out to go and post, even though my son hasn't talked to me for a long time, his birthday present, regardless of the times we're living in. This is how the demonic entities in others work as well. So this man, well, he's only 24. They make people so desolate and set them up and make them homeless so they get addicted to drugs, hard drugs. So what did I see today? This individual keeps pawning his phone. And unfortunately, the drug industry and how it works, I'm not an expert in that. But he succumbed to the predators that go after those that think, oh yeah, I can tick you some drugs, you pay back when you can. This guy has a mainstream. He has access to money, he has access to a bank, and he has this support network behind the scenes, right? So these demonic entities think, oh, they've seen me with him before. Oh, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. But I've seen this man today, this time with these two, one older woman, one younger girl. They're both heavily addicted to hard drugs. It's sad to see them like that, but their souls are possessed. Now, I needed to get out to do the post today at the last minute, which I've done. And then I thought, well, let's go and treat myself to something. I need 2 items ready for the winter. And I didn't need much. And I thought, well, I could do with some fruit or something, but I was tired and I thought I'll change my route where I normally go. So there I am. I had a gut feeling this man would not show up at my home, thank goodness. And there's no way I'm going to assist him, even though I know aspects about the Bar Association, it's a limited company, the Law Society is a limited company, and you can research a website dun&bradstreet.co.uk for England, and you will find, or Companies House, and you will find a lot of this as business and commerce. So you think, why would they want to use this man for 2 days in a row to get to me, to set me up, and use the law company, its agents to imply, to get, like the last video stream I did. Well, I found out the evidence, and I got evidence of the audio. There's no such woman called Rachel. She's not actually, she's not like a managing director. She's not a CEO. She's not own any shares in the company. And this company head office, well, there's quite a few actually. Their membership, their members, and the key ones are freemasons. And if they want to get ahead and get into such a position that particular guy called Christopher has, then he's the owner of this law company, by the way. He's got one of his main head offices is literally about 100 yards away from where I live, behind a public building, a well-known public building, and it is well known for Masonic members to use. Yeah, so that's interesting how it was, isn't it? So I went to a well-known takeaway place, but only to use a disabled toilet, and then who was happened to be there? Kane, and who happened to be hopping around. So I said to him, "Oh, did you see your friend today called Paul?" And just say the last letter C. I won't say the last information. "And did I get a call by this guy called Paul?" And just say letter C for the surname. No, I didn't. No. But they made sure I got a call, a voicemail, um, about 3:50, which I wasn't aware of till about 5-ish, yeah, about 5 o'clock. Um, and then by that time, the company was closed. There's no one going to call them back because I'm not involved in their matter. And I'm not going to be a go-between. Thank you. And I'm not going to be used. Now, the ploy allegedly looking at in England what's known as Ministry of Justice, a limited company. How the maritime law works and the system works. I worked that one out a long time ago now. And to make assumptions and try to get me involved in a matter that I really don't have first-hand knowledge of is not worth it for me, for my situation. And I thought I was just trying to help somebody. No, 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 no. When you're in this targeted program, there's no way that they will make sure if you know somebody, they will eventually get to them and find their weakness. So sadly, this lad has been got to, and whatever has been promised, he sold out very quickly. So it just goes to show the true characters, isn't it? So yeah. Luckily this time I got mobile evidence, I got photo evidence, I got text evidence this time that I can use. So let this be a warning to your demonic entities that sold your souls out. You think you can set me up with that individual? Well, I've got solid evidence to the key man who owns this law company. And I got your personal location where you live. And I can do personal lien against you. Yeah? But you see, I'm very careful not to fall for that trap just yet. And I'm not silly enough to fall for the trap to try and imply, oh, you're going to come to court and support me. I cannot do that in my personal, private life situation. At 9:30 in the morning, really, I remember a situation going back on a civil matter. It's a contract offer, civil matter, going back 2021, stitch up there, and how they used my adult son at the same time, and how my adult son, bless his heart, it's not his fault because he's got a young daughter. They got to him a long time ago. So I don't blame him. I just know how the system works. Anyway, and yeah, that was trying to get me into a contract, a verbal one, at 9:30 in the morning. And how conveniently I've saved all that communication, messages, texts, and gaslighting by me. research website, but what I found out, for evidence of the audio, there's no such vulnerable rate. Presumption against you. My adult son, this is how it's well, it's got your daughter. I don't blame him. I just know how the system works. Anyway, and yeah, that was trying to get me.
This isn't what they say.
Listen to this. Order evidence.
Even more data, minutes, and text into our top page. To buy a pack, image received today at 4:57 p.m.
No.
Hello, this is Rachel from Alexander Bennett Sisters. I spoke with you yesterday about cane courtesy. I was just calling to let him know what time he needs to be at school tomorrow. It's 2:30 Northampton Transport. Please do give me a call back if there are any issues or questions. Thank you. To return the call.
Really? 2:30? No, in Ministry of Justice Limited Company. When there's as I said, I just had this dream, but I'm back. Alleged court case, right? First, she said it needed to be yesterday at 9:30 in the morning to arrange. I won't repeat that subject of yesterday's stream, and yet he said today, oh, conveniently placed in the area I was earlier, and he didn't get a call, which caused me. I don't have any contact with him. It's only if I see him out, and only offered her out once, and she calls me, but doesn't call his friend. And he gave that woman Rachel his friend's phone number too to call in specifically. Okay, so that's that brief one. The next one you'll hear is where I see Kean. 6:30.
Right. Let's see if we find smoke. Never know. You alright?
And it was planted there to see me.
Right there? I'm on camera.
And they clocked me on CCTV.
Rattling.
Yeah?
I'm going to try and make £3.
You anxious? Right.
He's going to try and make £3 as well.
Right. I've got a phone call because I've had to go to the bank and I've got no money for Monday myself. So I can't do much until Monday. Okay. Right, I want you to
He still asked me for cash. Really?
Literally. Right, I'm gonna get you just to do. You said Rachel, be that 2:30. I know. Doesn't sound right. Sorry, let me get you. I'm out of business. You do take a call, right, that you do at 9:30. Right, be there at 9:30. Because I haven't got a feeling. I can't get there that early. My parents can't get to me early enough. As soon as they get to me, right, I will get up there anyway.
That one.
Up the road.
No, I know.
Yeah. So after they care for me, it would be about 1:30, 1 o'clock. I will get up there anyway to look at the court list for your name. I went to look online last night, couldn't find your name anywhere on any court list here, which shortly on the website is there. So, my gut feeling is, I'm not saying it's a setup, but be there for 9:30. When you take business, you want to go around the road to my name. When you
Message received today at 4:57. I spoke to you about
you do say to Paul, right, that you do at 9:30. Right, be there at 9:30. Because I haven't got a feeling. I can't get there that early. My parents can't get to me early enough. As soon as they get to me, right, I will get up there anyway. Because it's up the road and I will care. So after they care for me, it would be about 1:30, 1 o'clock. I will get up there anyway to look at the court list for your name. I went to look online last night, couldn't find your name anywhere on any court list here, which shortly on the website is there. So, my gut feeling is, I'm not saying it's a setup, but be there for 9:30. When you go to business, you want to go around the road to my name. When you call
I spoke to you yesterday about kean courtesy.
you do say to Paul, right, that you do at 9:30. Right, be there at 9:30. Because I haven't got a feeling. I can't get there that early. My parents can't get to me early enough. As soon as they get to me, right, I will get up there anyway. Because it's up the road and I will care. So after they care for me, it would be about 1:30, 1 o'clock. I will get up there anyway to look at the court list for your name. I went to look online last night, couldn't find your name anywhere on any court list here, which shortly on the website is there. So, my gut feeling is, I'm not saying it's a setup, but be there for 9:30. When you go to business, you want to go around the road to my name. When you call my gut feeling is, I'm not. Oh, someone's in there, are they? Thank you. Cheers. Thanks so much.
Right, I tried to offer him information of the law companies and be aware of tomorrow, and but basically that's the audio evidence. Yeah, you don't want to know the truth, but the truth will set you free. Right, next audio. Top of Gold Street, he was told to follow me with his buddy, the tall man. I'm eating my chips on the way home, and he comes up around the corner, calls out after me, and I'm on camera as he does that. He's gaslighting me, so you set him up to do that, and it doesn't work, so I know the game. Well, it's not a game, it's just pathetic.
Yeah. He don't care once he gets his trick.
Didn't take me too long for the freemasons to give him instructions what to do. Trying to get a good part. That was about that's about 27 when it happened, the second part.
Wow. Really famous. Very demonic. Excuse me, we've got 91. It says
I'm by the street, I come home and he comes up again, and this time with a bloke I do not know. So he definitely is not, he's not targeted, he's just been used and set up as a perp. I've got a whole long list of names actually. This goes back a long time, but this is the most recent stuff they've been doing for business and commerce. Right, now I've seen you're here, and right, come round the corner and call after me. I'm not that certain behaviours are demonic.
yeah.
Mind controlling. So is that my name?
Are they you are, Kane? You know what to do tomorrow, yeah? Yeah. And what does Paul look like for the rain? Where's that going? What does Paul look like? He's definitely going to be there.
Tall, skinny.
Yeah, right. Mine's 30. Right. You haven't got a mobile to call you on. If there's any problems, get Paul to call me. Not become my care then.
No, it won't, because my phone that phone number no longer is available.
You're welcome.
Thanks for helping me. Well, Freemasons, demonic entities, demons. You possessed him, and he's with his dealer. And I don't get involved in things like that. International Bar Association is a limited company. Head office in London and different offices in London. Right, that's the end of that one. I have photograph evidence also of him. So, yeah. Right, the subject, what they are trying to do, the setup is the setup by the public servants in my area. Well, it's been going on for a long time, but what they tend to do, this is just part 2 of yesterday, really. And so when you educate yourself in knowledge and truth or facts on certain subjects, maritime law, common law, tort law, trust law, etc., they hate it. They really hate it. Oh, statute law. So when you know who you are, spiritually as well as practically in the physical domain, you know how the dark occult is, the demonic side. You have to be factual. You need first-hand evidence. You need documentation evidence, because presumptions will be made about your private life. And in this targeted program, what you need is the factual evidence. So all results. I mean, it goes back further, before 13 years before I moved to this location, anyway. And so it's been nothing but one thing after the other. They bring people in, so you can even believe how they use their trauma-based mind control subject, generally speaking. Then how do they formulate individuals who are members of Masonic clubs, but they're just not. Some of these members don't know what goes on the higher level degrees. My ex-husband, 33-degree level, I do know from years ago. It hasn't changed in the hierarchy. Now, on things that I do know of the dark occult and the practices of the demonic side, unfortunately, I do know. Now, certain people in the public sector side, in public services, of public funded companies, they are the agents, and the living men and women are the beneficiaries. And this trust and equity law is very important to comprehend that information, knowing who you are. Now, one needs to look at definitions and meaning of words, comprehension of the definitions in sentence grammar as well. And when you put it into your affidavit, rebuttals, point to point, that stands as fact in a lawful terminology in law. And these agents are just individuals working for either private companies, which can also, the contract, how it gets muddled and get muddy, where you have to dig deep to see the connections, which I found out. This law company, this guy Kean yesterday claimed, well, Christopher, he owns quite a few of the company, well, 4 in total, and main one links back to my location, nearby me anyway, behind the public building. So I'm just adding some notes here. So intriguing, eh? Intriguing setup. So I've got his photograph, and what I saw of him at 24 years of age today, sadly. Well, you could tell he's been, they got to him, really did get to him. Okay. There is a full moon coming up. Now, if you didn't know, also in England, Law Society, limited company as well. So all law companies, like lawyers, these men and women with their job titles, barristers and lawyers, have to be a member. So International Bar Association, if they're barristers, they have to pay a fee to that company to have these reference letters, membership number to practice in their field in England. Is a law society, the law society is a company, but the SAR, Sisters Regulation Authority Limited Company, they have to have the SAR number, and these men and women will pay a fee to that company to practice law in England, whatever field that subject they're in. And they were set up at LLP, Limited Partnership, Limited Liability Partnership, meaning they cannot be sued. They're protected behind that corporation. But when you find their individual locations out, you can see them as personal capacity as a man or woman for the tort. So, I'm not an expert in none of this, it's just others have found the same things out. Right. Challenging times we're living in. Right, that's it for me. I'm going to take it easy and chill out. Fortunately, I didn't get the copy of the sunrise this morning because my sleep messed about with. So 350, that female Rachel, she had no authority to call me, and I got no personal connections with that man called Kean. These corporations, it's invasion of one's privacy is no obligation either, but one has to learn these things out for oneself. And by the way, that man, lad called Kean, did not come to my home because he was told not to, and he was told to, he was planted by that area in, and I won't say where the location is, but it's all on CCTV. 2 times gaslighting me, following me, that's stalking behaviour. And he's allegedly on drugs. I saw it on his face. So I won't say why they're using him and how and what's behind it, because I don't need to go through all that all over again. Just retrashing the same information. Right. It links to, it's like a military operation. This UK National Housing Company agents, they breached a contract since the 18th of March 2009. Since I moved in here, a perpetrator who still lives in the area, I've known him before I moved here, and I know he's connected to. So 13 years off a contract, breach of contracts by the agents, this housing company, and they're behind using their contacts nationally in the public funded companies. I've got all these documents offline as well, evidence, and what they used to be known. So that began 2017, set up, and that subject up until 2019, and they haven't stopped until 2022. Right. So they also use this voucher company who's got in England known as a company, NHS England Limited, the head office in Leeds. anyone can go to downthebadstreet.co.uk and get all this information, public or private companies, and you'll find out who's who if you need to. It's interlinked with the subject where also I have to add today's date, which is Thursday. So as I said, they set up with him yesterday and today. So now this area police, they set up the company. They're not an authority. They don't have any power. Unless you cause common law offences against, unfortunately, if anyone causes or has sustained a common law offence, then unfortunately within common law one needs to learn about definitions of that, and that's where these public servants have to act upon their oath of office within common law. Otherwise they're working for a corporation, for business and commerce to make money. Yeah, following the UK Acts and Statutes. So, and their uniform is interlinked. Well, oh, goodness knows what's going to happen with that now, because we have a new King of England. So all these changes are coming to fruition. This is all biblical as well. Yeah, so my 7-page fifth affidavit rebuttals, point to point, presumptions being made, was done back in June. And then the GDPR data protection, well, I've already covered that. I'd responded to the agents in reference on that subject from 2015 to 2011, and they didn't respond. From 2011 to 2015, that's 5 years. And they lied about me and said I wasn't responding to their invitation on a civil matter, which is civil, of a contract. I've not breached contract, they have. And then until they reopened the matter and lied of my private life, 2019 assumptions, which, as I said, being rebutted. So it went to other public servants, presumption, which they don't know me, don't know about my private life, and they were lied to by local public servants. And I know who they are, and she is basically 2019 in a report making personal assumptions about my private life, disabilities, medical equipment, direct discrimination, disability hate, you name it. She's actually lied with herself. And in her job position at the time, in public office, she's actually breached her own, and I could sue her personally for that. Still got the period of time with it to do that. And this former CEO, but now they've actually dissolved as a corporation. It's a new company set up, and I don't have an awful contract with them. So they're agents, and so they're going now a different route. So really, all along, I moved here. Everything that's been going on behind that scene, bigger picture, is for years I've known about certain people within the Freemasons, certain individuals, what they really do politically as well, and but I keep quiet. I always will. It's not my job. Let other people expose the truth. It's not my job to do that. But they don't like the fact that I'm still about. I'm still surviving best I can. So they have to do like they did every bloody year. And year before last. Yeah, last year and this year. Sorry, correction. This last year before that, there's always something. But this time, there's wonderful people spiritually out there. It's lovely. Raising my vibrations. But anyway, as I said, tricks and trays of this just be careful out there, because apart from all this practical everyday stuff going on and all this BS that's going on, there's, oh gosh, I'm trying to get rid of this. the pop-ups. They're jamming my internet, so I can't get. They're jamming my main internet. It's demonic. Let me go back at this. Yeah, I thought so. I'm just uploading evidence. I'm still monitoring that. I'm still monitoring that. Tube, but interest rates have gone up. Let me just listen to this. Tube, but interest rates have gone up. Banking industry always is. One needs to educate themselves about commerce and business in monetary system. Tube, but interest rates have gone up. Banking industry always is. One needs to educate themselves about commerce and business in monetary system. Tube, but interest rates have gone up. Banking industry always is. One needs to educate themselves about commerce and business. Economics. You see, whoever studies economics at mainstream education establishment.
The Bank of England has raised interest rates to 2.25%, the highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. It has also warned the UK could already be in recession.
For a moment there, it almost looked as if we could glimpse the light at the end of the economic tunnel. At the start of this year, the economy was bouncing back after COVID. People were spending again. Now, things are looking more worrying. With inflation now expected to be in double digits for months, the Bank of England have raised interest rates to the highest level since 2008. For those who run businesses, even those doing pretty well, the challenges seem to be coming from all angles, from the falling pound, which makes imports more expensive, to the cost of everything else.
But inflation is a sort of a triple-edged sword, if you like, because you've got the impact on supply chain and the way that we bring goods in. But absolutely, the impact on demand, because customers feel it's actually more important. Even if we're trying to protect them, our average price is only gone up about 5%. But then we're seeing prices rise everywhere, and therefore the propensity to buy is probably, it's more difficult to get them to make a big ticket item.
The bank actually thinks the holidays this year. The real question is what happens next.
So we're already seeing signs that the economy is slowing from short-term indicators and that kind of thing. We're going to see more of that in the coming months, partly because of the interest rate rise and the higher bills, but also because of the rise in the cost of living.
Now, in historical context, 2.25% isn't very high, and even 4.75%, which is where they're expected to go next year, doesn't look like much, especially compared to those double-digit levels in the 80s and the 90s. But don't be fooled, because these days today's households are much more indebted. Their income's much lower compared with their mortgage repayments. Once you adjust for mortgage affordability, the red line here, those double-digit rates are actually double-digit now, 3% in today's housing market. Suddenly, 4.75% rates look quite scary. The last 2 times the red line hit those levels, we had a housing crash not long afterwards. Perhaps that explains why the bank didn't lift borrowing costs quite as much as some expected.
Now, it might sound strange to hear a 0.5 percentage point increase. The joint figures that we've had since the 1990s described as small, but actually there were a lot of people, including 3 members of the Monetary Policy Committee, who would rather it was even bigger, 0.75 percentage points. Why? Because on the other side of town in Westminster, the government is writing blank checks financed.
Collapse the economy, that's what they want.
To act and act fast.
For those with mortgages, that will mean higher costs. For savers, it's better news. But on top of everything else, inflation, energy bills, it all seems to point to a weaker economy. And the industry
Collapse the economy,
gets squeezed at the same time. Businesses like Brooks Salon here in Telford and their clients too.
I'm in a position where I need to raise my prices because I've hit that, but also now the electricity price and as well as my stock prices already going up 12%. Like, what am I meant to do as a business owner? Am I meant to just inflict that all?
It's all going
on
online.
Well,
You don't need premises anymore. It's going online.
57% on top of what they're already paying.
Economists love saying there's no such thing as a free lunch, but they've got a point, and it applies here. Even if the government succeeds,
It's all going online.
sting in town, higher interest rates, potentially much higher. Ed Conway, Sky News.
In Australia. They'll have to collapse the economy to reset to go digital. Digital currency, crypto, digital coins, where they want to control the use of advancement in technology. To reset to go digital. So these globalist families, bloodline families, 13 of them, and you trace it back to date, you'll find they send their kids off to certain well-known education establishments to learn Latin and business and commerce through economics. And you trace it back to date, you'll find they send their kids off to certain well-known education establishments. Right, I've got to mute this because I'm getting feedback. So when they do business and commerce, let me just mute this, I'm getting feedback. So let me just, right, I've got to mute this. So how they mess about with business monetary system is promises to pay. If you look at, for example, if you're in England, if you look at the £10 or £5 note at the top, you'll see the writing, and it says Bank of England. I promise to pay the bearer on demand of, so the value would be, say, £10 or £5, and that means it's basically a promissory note. When you learn to make your own promissory notes within the Bills Exchange Act 1882, and you might want to look at a version, I think it's also 1886, you will read it through and you'll see what it means by the terminology used, promises to pay the bearer on demand of. So it's a belief system. Money is a belief system. If you go back in history, look at the bartering system, and you'll find what do the ancients do for exchange of value. It's exchange of an item of value. So how these global elites have actually used human living flesh and blood as commodities in trust and equity law is to use the Great Fire of London, all that history ago, and to turn, well, I'm not expert in Great Fire of London in England. In that period of time, it's just what is known when you learn economics and business. and monetary system. And you learn that the banking, high street banks, for example, they don't have any value. They don't have money per se. It's all digits on a computer anyway. That's what it is. It's just numbers. It's accountants, accountancy numbers. And so basically, it's just I mean, I learnt this years ago from an ex-friend of mine from many years. He was a very nice gentleman, and he was a Freemason. Didn't mean no harm, and he taught me this quite long. I didn't take much notice those days, but I always remember what he said about the monetary system, how it works, the basics. And as I learnt firsthand myself now, it is just that. And what the value really is going to be, it's not just gold or silver. You can't eat, you can't eat coins. You can't eat gold or silver, where people are trying to imply invest in that. Well, what you're really going to need is a bit like you're camping out in your own home. You're going to need the old-fashioned way of doing things like they did in the Great Depression period. You're going to have the skills of making your own clothes, or if you have a garden, grow your own food. So you haven't got your source of seeds already and things like that. If you don't, and you live in a flat or apartment, whatever you call it, wherever you may live, then you've got to look at this. People have been preparing for these times right now. Now, people could say the preppers and, people know we're coming to the end of days of these period of times in business and in commerce, and they knew the past 2 years with the lockdowns going on around the world, it's going to collapse, and here we are now. You can't just have corporations like the Bank of England printing endlessly paper notes and a circulation into the populace, as a lot of people may not know this economic system, how it works. They're not taught. They're not bothered to. They're just watching telly, the programming, and they're dumbed down or whatever reason. Okay, so really, if people's lost their jobs, for example, which I'm sure they have, and a lot of people lost if they had mortgages, if you learn what the mortgage system's like and what that's about, and how that works, and there's a great documentary out there about the mortgage swindle. You might have to dig around to look for that if one wants to know. And because the Internet of Things is not built for the public, it's always been built to control and collect knowledge and data. The big monetary future system is data. Every bit of data. So whether it's your bio data, medical data with the biotechnology, the nanotech, they already designed all this. They already designed like the Matrix movies with brain implants. They've already developed smart pills to track your body functions within the side of the body wirelessly. There's certain sympathetic materials they've already developed in advancement. Advancement in medical data is here now, but it's not made public as yet. Okay, so they're just waiting for the financial reset, and for the economic forum, it was already known. People's already done their digging and found the documents and read up about it. But all this on educateyourself.org website, it's not mine, it's just a website. You go into the 21 goals of the Illuminati. Who are the Illuminati? You go into the Knights of Templar, you go back in history, even far back as AIDS, and the biblical periods. And then you look at the genealogy and then the bloodlines, especially 13 bloodline families. And then you just follow it through, in genealogy, and you bring it forward to today's modern dates, and you'll see how these people are interlinked, whether they're cousins or inbred, or it's just really, really bizarre how it's all linked. you know, it's not separate, but portraying to general means it is perceived to be separate, these issues, but it's not. It boils down to just one thing: economics and business, and everything that surrounds it. And that's how this commerce works and trade. And if you look at the crown originally in England, it's always been like that, isn't it? The Columbus, you know, the financing of Columbus going to the Americas and really conquering and dominating the ancient, you know, the original landowners were the native Indians. And what do they do to them? So, and then they colonized them. And the beautiful, all right, you might not agree with their way of doing things, or the Native Americans, but all their natural way of doing things has been completely, what, you know, just their beautiful culture and everything's been destroyed. Techno, you just joined. Let me just go in. It's all about finance and it's all about technology, especially the future. Nothing makes sense. In what context? Nothing makes sense. And what was your age before I go any further? Because this is not made for children. What does not make sense? Business? Finance? The world? Which particular subject? You going by the numbers? You know, and think about Freemasonry and the numbers. 4, 3. 4. Yeah, I know you're Freemason because the numbers that you put in. You add 4 and 3, you make 7. If you don't know the key symbolism within Freemasonry and Illuminati, they use numbers and symbolism. And if you don't research that by now, then that's your problem. I had this online nickname since the 90s. Well, that's cool. So you must be very clued up with your computer skills. If you are computer skills since the 90s, then you must know about the advancement in technology they already have. And hello. You okay? It's good to see you. Hello. Yeah, so you're obviously very skilled and very knowledgeable yourself. So do say, bear with me. So you must be clued up on business and commerce and on the monetary system, what's going on in the world. And if you are, you must already had your investments secured by now. I'll take it. There's an assumption there. Yeah. So, and by the way, you put 6. I love the dates you put. Yeah. I've been seeing 6s, 666. I've been seeing 7s. It's all by the numbers. Oops, I need to get rid of that. I have nothing. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, you really don't need anything, you know, really do not need any monetary system at all, because it's just a belief system. Okay, you can buy things with it, but what do you need? Do you really need items? Do you really need tellies? I mean, okay, look at the Native Americans and how they lived. You know, we're going back to primitive years. We're going back to primitive skills, bushcraft skills. And this is very crucial to know and to put into fruition because the economy crashes. So what you're going to do for heating your home, what you're going to do to eat, do you have a garden? To actually, in Germany right now, they are advised to build mini fires if they have gardens, that is, to cook their foods. You know, it really is going back like Stone Age. And the military's already gone onto the streets. Yeah, You don't really need nothing. As long as you got your basic things, you know, you might need, like, obviously your water to drink. The body needs, you know, to dehydrate and to obviously hydrate. Born in the South Africa, that's cool. Raised in, oh, that's a lovely country, Switzerland. That's a capital of business and finance. They've got vaults over there in Switzerland. They've got so many species and different varieties of seeds in the vaults, and they're very, I don't know how below the temperature they've got it, but they've been prepared for this anyway, a long time ago. Right, using my phone. So touchscreen is tricky. Trickery is a key word here, actually. It's all by magic, you know, it's all using tricks and symbolism and magic within the Illuminati, and higher ranking than that in the occultism. And in the Freemasons are just like the lower level of the pyramid structure. And when you get into, you know, certain people that get initiated, they don't know what's going on the top level, shall we say, and they pay each level to get knowledgeable, the enlightenment, shall we say. But really, when they do get to a certain level, and then you get to a higher, different degree, you've got Knights of Malta. Oh, it goes very, very much. The history is important to know where we are now in the world, and where how really the human race per se is evolving into transhumanism. So if you don't mind your brain being uploaded to a supercomputer, that's fine. If you are humanist, that you don't believe in anything, any spirituality, any faith belief, then up to the individual if you don't care, because the essence of your brain will be uploaded, like in the TV shows and movies out there, will be uploaded to the supercomputer. And as long as you have friends and family members able to pay to keep that computer system running by AI, you live in an artificial world like the Matrix movies, and that's what they're hinting at for a long time. Otherwise, if you do and you don't want to, then you're going to be like a situation like me. You're going to be in the radar. You're going to be like loads of people like me actually around the world, just to be a target, because you will not go along with a globalist plan at all. And you are starseed, and you are enlightened, and you're aware, and you are practically prepared for anything. And you just self-educate yourself on knowledge and fact, and then you just become aware of the dark side of life, of the dark web, and the dodgy stuff that goes on. You won't need your phone soon either. I know Switzerland's over. It's already gone. Middle class is gone. Absolutely right. I'm moving back to London next week. Well, good luck on that one, because if you're in business and finance, yeah, evil AI, parasite, exactly. If you're aware already, and have the ability with your knowledge and your contacts, the future investment is in a biotech, medical data, and software, especially when it comes to remote medical healthcare, and where it's remotely. Now, 6G is coming. It's already being designed, It's not public yet, but it's a military grade 6G technology. They're much more advanced than that, of course. But the documents are out there, and investment, if anybody still has any kind of digital currency with a crypto, the mining, because they have to reset the banking system as we know it to create the new future of the monetary system. So if one is not brought in, and one is freedom from the globalist controlled future digitalization and transhumanism in their plan. And you're off grid, and you're able to mine your own sources of creation, or of you got your digital art. Everything's going to be digitalization. So you they're print. It's a bit like Star Trek movies. You're printing your own food of your printer. It's not just a 3D printer. It's going to be more advanced. You'll get rid of your TV. Everything now. You don't need all that tech anymore. It's all going to be related to the interlinks of the brain, implants interlinked with one mind, hive mind. Starlink is all about that, with the satellites up in the sky already, and the satellites is just nothing. It's very more detailed, very much more advanced. You're going to have the implants, and it's not quite like chip, in the mark of the beast. It's very subtle. It's very small, and you'll hardly know that you've been most probably we've been taken, these tiny nano particulates from the toxicity in the air and the atmosphere and into our food supply chain already. So we're like antennae. Our bodies are like giving out signals, and then it attracts the EMF waves into the body. So we really are like antennae for the 5G systems, and but yet really for it to go streamline conjunction with the AI technology, it is definitely has to be a reset financially in what is known now. That's where you've seen the economy going the way it is right now. And by the way, the bank wars, it's always been history, bankers, banking, the First World War, the Second World War, and here we go again, potentially the third. But go back further than First World War, and you will find, it's always been Rockefeller families, Morgan families in history, 1700s, maybe even further. It's always wars, is always to do with business and commerce and trade. It's got nothing to do with anything else. They're really friends. All these people are very friendly, beyond the scenes. It's just about trade disputes and business and commerce. That's all it is. But unfortunately, in between all this, innocent people are being harmed unlawfully. And just stop the pop-ups. I'm trying to go back to school. Oh, that's brilliant for electronics. Absolutely fantastic way of learning. I was targeted from birth. Yeah, yes. Sorry to hear that. The starseeds, when you have one is known from birth, okay? These dark entities know who we are from birth, before we're born. And this is a long journey for me anyway, finding these things out. I can't go into too many specifics on this stream. But the fact is, one needs to be plausible in evidence or first-hand knowledge, because you can't just quote something without backing it up with facts, because anyone can see and read anything these days. And there's a lot of people just dumbed down. The first brain implant, the brain was being messed about with a ball in Spain, and that goes back into 1800s. And yeah, so far advanced. When I found out the first pattern for brain interface technology was 1950s, when Tesla started developing, the telegraph, the telephone. Then you have the television. I mean, there's loads of patterns and documents listing all of this. So when our thoughts are not our own, so to speak, it really is definitely like the Matrix movie. So if you're working on your skills in electronics, it's really, really going to be extremely helpful for the future. And anybody with computer knowledge, AI, scientific, medical, anything in that regard, you're going to actually really going to be a good position, and able to you know, especially when it's a digitalization. So of course you've got all this digital currency online. The electronics will come very handy with the mining or digital currency, and with trading as well. So everything is going for like it's going to be like a avatar, the avatar, you're creating artificial intelligence. So you have the reality of the physical world, shall we say, in our physical body, but yet you could have it's not going to be the virtual headsets anymore. It's going to be more advancement of that technology. Okay. And that's already designed. And then you're going to have a bit like Majority Report, the movie. And if you look at the script of the movie and you see the kind of screens and technology that's come up within that movie set, and the screens and the storyline, you'll see where the future is. Was already here, but is more sort of like undercover the military side of it all at the moment. Because if you think about technology, the world is more, and the military terminology in the world is more like 20 years advance. So with the D-Wave and hive mind, it is all they call the mind is the new battlefield. Okay, so you're going to have all the drones, delivery. This is where 2 years. Why do you think they brought in home deliveries? Getting used to being at home, getting used to working online, and all this jargon. This is all the new norm. This is all the false sense of reality going back to normal. It's never been a normal, you know, in that kind of mainstream sense, because it's all by a string of these global family bloodlines, literally like above, with strings hanging down and just playing around with people's personal lives and economics. So yeah, it's about not fearing the unknown, and when you just keep things like you're doing, many people are trying to do. People do have the very, very important at the moment is bush skills. Foresting, knowing what to use for medical and health and edibles. If you do live in a forest or able to get out, because when it comes to like, oh, you want, this is what they're promoting now. Go and eat the bugs. Go and eat the crickets. Oh, when I went to France one time, it was like it's a long time ago, and it's like there's nothing to them. They're used to it. The cultures in different parts of the world are used to these different. They call it delicacies, but I think the I think the shock for the Europeans and the Western side of the world is going to have a shock to their system. When they're desperate for something to eat, they're going to eat it, aren't they? And just need to learn how that's going to affect the cells and the bio makeup of the body. Really, really need to learn how that is going to affect eating that. Um, no matter how it's made up and made. And is it GMO? Could you imagine? Crickets are manufactured and they're made in a factory, for God's sake. Oh, can you imagine that? Anyway. I refuse to eat frogs. Oh my God. Do you know something? I tried my first snail in the late 90s, and when I was on holiday. Oh my goodness me. And my male friend at the time was teaching me because he's well traveled. And he said, no, you just have the actual shell. Um and it's really slimy and awful. And the colour as well. And I'll tell you, it's my first experience in they treat it as a really sort of like, treat this part of France where we were. And I did swallow this smallish snail. You cannot chew it, you cannot bite it. It's that kind of texture, a seafood that is, and really, I just tried, and I was just like practically puking after. It was not for me. And then I was looking at the menu, frog's legs, really. I mean, if it was well cooked and with sort of like spices and things and disguised, and you're not told it's frog legs, maybe you could get used to it. But no, I don't think so. I think plant-based foods. I think a bit like in the movies and Star Trek, when it's coming out of a tube, and how do you know it's not going to be chemically even more enhanced and losing all its nutrients? So it really is like looking to transhumanism, mixing machine and AI body parts with the human body parts, really, and then your brain uploaded supercomputer. You know, it's they're testing out the technology and targeted individuals for years before I was born. And when I've read these documents for so long now, and I read through a lot of the technology, how they're doing it is sick. It's so demonic, and innocent children. And there's a lot of things I know which I can't go into. It's just not me to go. I don't go these dark avenues because you need your vibrations, your spiritual vibrations raised. That is so in these times we're living in, and whatever the future may hold, and we get through these trials and tribulations right now. Whatever walk of life one is, if you can raise your vibrations and keep that in a level playing field and ride this out, and you come out the other end, because there are people not going to be able to do that. There are people going to turn to you on even the perpetrators. They're going to lose their wages. They're not going to be able to have their wages, or they're going to suddenly find they won't get their perks anymore for doing the organised stalking or the setups. They're going to find they're not going to get their supply. And then where do you think the underground doctorate, the individuals reliant on the hard drugs, where do you think they're going to get their money supply from? They're not going to. So how do you think they're going to turn out? They're going to turn out to be completely flipped out psychologically. So who they're going to turn to? They're going to need strong characters to be able to, not leaders, to strong individuals, streetwise, practically aware, and clubbing together. Well, I'd like to see that happen with star seeds, the spiritual people that can foresee this, and can lead the way really, and grounding, and be solid, and because there's going to be a lot of lives that are going to be lost, sadly, and people will flip out before it gets any better. So you will see the civil unrest on the streets very quickly. You will see martial law coming in, especially Germany's already have it right now. So people already getting videos out about UN, United Nations soldiers. Well, I'll call it individuals of a certain colour, putting into UK hotels all over different places throughout England. And they're just waiting for ready. They're getting trained up already a long time ago, ready to come on the streets of England when the shite hits the fan. And it's any day now. So, not being doom and gloom. Yeah, just be careful of scaremongering out there, fearmongers. If I don't look good, I ain't eating it. I like Christmas smoking bacon, and oh, tell me about it. You can't beat eggs and bacon and beans, and you cannot beat having mushrooms with it. So the hunters will be hunted. Well, tell me about it. The hunted will be the hunted. Do you know something? It depends on I'm not expert, don't take my word for gospel. It is really about those who have been doing this for so long. When the shite hits a fan and it collapses, you're going to. Have you ever seen the movie called Purge? So, right, when this unrest happens, if the military, if these agents cannot take control, just trust your gut instinct and your own personal situation and your loved ones, if you still have them, and in this program, and just trust your gut about practical things, because I hope nothing really does go kicks off, especially in England, the way it's portraying to be very quickly. But also be aware of the advancement in technology, where they definitely want to create Project Bluebeam, and that is within the holograms in the sky. So they really want to. They're already preparing the skies. You ever notice it's gone really like blue, pale artificial blue already? Well, geoengineering is already there anyway, but this is much more detailed, and preparing the skies to have this. They already had, I can't remember what country it was, a couple of days back when the Queen passed away, claiming that there was a projection in the sky of the late Queen. Well, I already knew why they're doing that, to get ready for suddenly seeing a hologram, massive projection, like using the sky as a projection screen. So suddenly, like, 100%, no disrespect to all Christians out there, suddenly seeing God or Jesus Christ, and then it would be like using the mind control technology and advancement in that, like really talking to them, like they're going to be raptured out. Yeah. And then if you're Muslim religion or whatever religious domination, that would be similar. So it'd be around the world. So that would be portrayed to be the savior. Whereas Antichrist, that's what they want, to usher in the Antichrist. So when you work out what really the Antichrist really is, really it's all about control and business and finance. It's all it boils down to. And they have to set me up, as I said, I started a stream yesterday and today off with this young lad, and I could see right through him. Sadly, they turned him into the hard drugs, because I know how they set me up years ago, and it's always happening. But I have a strong personality. Yeah, so in the moment I got in the stream to get off, and time in UK is different to parts of the world. So it's my birthday in a couple of days, and the day I was born, the year I was born is quite significant. If you're into astronomy, the period of what my late mum went through, and my family members, I got out the occult years ago. I'm not into the Freemasonry. I got out of it all years ago, so I know a few things which I won't go into. I know what they do with the rituals. I know what they really, really get up to. But I'm not here to spread the beans on that. It's not my place. The point is the fact that when you go through things, you don't think you're going to get through it. Okay. And some people, unfortunately, just don't see the wood between the trees. They don't see the silver lining. Okay. And it's so dramatic, and the triggers that go with it. And that is NK Ultra. The NK Ultra Monarch project back all those years ago the experimentation was made public late 70s, right? But they claimed it went dark under, that it stopped. It didn't. It just got more sophisticated. So what they did to me was the NK Ultra triggers, NK Ultra program, Monet project. You can go on the website and have a dig around and find this evidence oneself. Then, knowing what we know, and just be conscious that these entities, these demonic entities, know, as you say, know who we are from birth, and you suddenly start realizing, like I did 2018, that right, my life has been a stage, and you're just going to thinking everyday life is just normal. You're doing your workouts, swimming, gym, traveling, work, whatever, family life, and suddenly you realize that, hold on, what the hell is all this? You start noticing, and when you keep a journal, and I was in the media years ago, so you keep a diary, journal, dates, times, and then you go back on it. So say a year passed, you go back on it and you look at similar patterns and dates and similar scenarios. There's no such thing as coincidence. Okay. So then you think, okay, what can I do about it? And the biggest thing you don't do is get in the mindset. Don't let them get into your head. In that sense, psychologically, because that's what they want. They want you to like lose your identity as who you are, as a spiritual being, as essence. Do not ever think with your head. Trust your gut. Always trust with your gut instinct. That's my opinion. Do what you want. But because they're messing about with the brain interface, the brain cortex, the neurons, always. And the frequencies affect it. The tinnitus, people claim tinnitus in the ears. That's the frequencies. They're turning it up and down. And when you think your emotions are your own, really? So you might want to investigate that. And there's loads of links of natural and positivity on that website. Loads of websites, but the one I found was educateself.org. It's got some really good information to look at the history, bring yourself forward to date, and then you know where you're going with your own situation in the future. Because when the internet goes and when they do the reset, it will crash. It will just turn into a new style of things. And then you've got, don't forget that sci-fi movie, I can't remember. Was it well, I can't remember the title now. It's a really good movie. It showed the guy that created the artificial intelligence and the storyline, and the AI took over, controlled itself, and made duplicates of clones, human clones. And really good movie, but it just showed you what the technology they really got. So, and then in the website, you've got time travel. So you're looking at electronics. Yeah, you want to really focus on the portals, time travel, dimensions. It's a bit like Stargate. If you ever used to watch that program, all these programs and TV shows are always telling the public what they're doing before they actually let us know in the real terminology side of things. But Stargate has always been hinting at their ability to time travel through portals, time and space and physics and so forth. And so, yeah. Now, when I talk about star seeds, it's that ability to see through things, through people, and you're just born with it. You just have that. You don't know you have those gifts, obviously, until depending on what time one has that epiphany awakening, and then you just become a target because they want to see how you develop skills, right? And then you're going to attract the negativity. They've got to attack you, constantly bring you down, set ups, and constantly stop your abilities because they really, really see you as a threat. They really see people that have that awareness and awakening as a major threat to their globalist takeover. Hello, Tanya, my dear. How are you? Yes, strongly is very interesting. Thank you, my dear. Tech, no. Kid 2020. How are you? I know about Monic. That's good. That's good. Tanya, how are you doing? I sent you a couple of pictures. I've seen Star Trek movie. That's good. 2009, I start noticing patterns. There you go. There you go. There you go. Tanya, I'll do part 2. Come on later. I've got to go and do something, right? So let me just monitor. I'm going to screen share. I'm just seeing if Tanya did come in the main chat. Yes, she did. How's it going down under? What kind of patterns did you start seeing, Techno Kid? Right, screen share. I've got to cut time over here. It's getting on for me, so I've got to go and do something. Won't be that long, then I'll come and do part 2. Right. Just going to check on my string. Okay, so just doing a check on my string. Right, on that note, I need to go and do something. I won't be that long, and I'll be back on part 2. It's 5:11 UK time, so be about an hour. I'll be back. 5:11 UK time, so about an hour. I'll be back. The patterns of behaviour, how they keep me in a loop. There you go. There you go. Their answers, yes. And what they said, yes. Yeah, take care. Have a lovely break, whatever you're doing, if you're watching. Yeah, this is yeah, educateyourself.org. Anyone wants to anything I said in this stream, you can go and check out for the facts. I only quote facts I know. Educateyourself.org is just a website, and it will give you some really interesting insights. So I'm not typing much in the chat, but Tanya, wherever you were, I hope you're okay, by the way, in Australia. Do email me, fill me in, or contact me by Discord to fill me in how you're doing if you need to, right? Yeah, bye, Tech. I just said bye. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Tech, no, it's a good name. I like that handle. Yeah. Bye for now. And Tanya, bless you. Hi. Right. Just get rid of pop-ups. My spelling is not good, so they like to monitor me on my spelling. My spelling on the keypad. Right. Signing out. Thanks for the thumbs up. Take care.